Welcome again. It's so nice to see more faces out here this year. I'm Diane Solly, Cooperative, and it's my honor and privilege to be here today serving you and Quiver in this capacity. We want to welcome you and thank you for joining us. I've been notified that a quorum of members has been established, and I now declare the meeting open for all business that may be presented today. The first item on the agenda is proof of mailing of the annual meeting notice, which will be presented by our Secretary Treasurer, Ted House.
Thank you, Diane. I have in my possession Form 3541 from the United States Postal Service, which certifies that on July 21st, 2021, notice of the annual meeting of the Quiver River Electric Cooperative was mailed to the 59,561 member addresses from the post office in Jefferson City, Missouri. The notice was given in the Rural Missouri Magazine, all in compliance with the bylaws of Quiver River Electric Cooperative.
Very good. Thank you, Ted. At this time, I'd like to introduce your cooperative's current board of directors. Actually, I would have you stand, but we don't need to do that this year. So I'll go ahead and read your name. From Lincoln County, the directors are Mike Cherry, Jeff Geisendorfer, and Mick Burkemper. The directors from St. Charles County are Mark Schulte, myself, Diane Solly, Dale Anderson, Denise O'Mara, who wasn't able to be here today, and Ted House. The directors from Warren County, Dan Elliott, Paul Ruby, and Phil Dunk. And our director from Pike County is Walt Gregory. Thank you all very much. All right, at this time I'd like Megan Ray, our attending attorney, to step up to the podium to conduct a very important part of our meeting, the election of your board of directors, and this year discussion of the proposed bylaw change. Megan, thank you.
Pursuant to Quiver River's bylaws, the nominating committee met on May 18th and nominated the following candidates. For Lincoln County District Number 3, David Hinkey, Mick Burkemper, and John Waddell. For Warren County District Number 2, David Avis, Steve Coffey. For St. Charles District Number 1, Bruce Miller and Mark Schulte. For St. Charles County District Number 3, David Schuler, Dale Anderson, and Daryl DeCant. There were no nominations received by petition this year. There is a bylaw amendment that's been proposed by the board. Proposition A asks, shall the bylaws of the cooperative be amended to allow the board to specially retire capital credits of inactive members? The reasoning is that currently when members move away from the service area and become inactive members, it can take many years before all of the capital credited those inactive members' accounts is fully retired. The proposed bylaw amendment would allow the board to retire any remaining capital owed to these inactive members once the members leave the system at the discretion of the board. The Quiver River Board of Directors supports this amendment. And for any of you in attendance who have not yet voted, you may go ahead and vote now. You can mark your ballots. You may select one candidate for each district on your ballot, and you may vote either yes or no to the bylaw proposition. Please note that each member can vote for a candidate in each district, regardless of where you reside. So please mark your ballot for one candidate per district. Are there any additional ballots to collect at this time? I don't see any, so we will now retire and count the ballots. Thank you.
Thanks, Megan. All right. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the 2020 annual meeting minutes. A copy of the minutes was printed on the website and in your handout. Do you wish to have the minutes read, or shall we dispense with the reading of the minutes?
I move we dispense.
All right, we have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to dispense with the reading of the minutes. All in favor, vote by saying yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. This brings us to the presentation of the financial report. Again, a copy of the audited financial report was posted on the website and is printed in your handout. The annual report was also included in the August issue of the Rural Missouri, which was mailed to you. Our Secretary Treasurer, Ted House, can read it, or if not, do I hear a motion to dispense with the reading of the financial report?
I'll make a motion.
All right, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
A motion and a second to dispense with the reading of the financial report. All in favor, vote by saying yes.
Yes.
Those opposed, vote say no. Motion passes. Thank you. All right, at this time, I'd like to call on Doug Tracy to give his general manager's remarks. Doug?
All right. Thank you, Diane.
Excuse me.
Might as well sit for a while. All right, am I on, Aaron? We good? Okay. All right. I just want to say thank you for those of you that are here in this room. We have a couple members in the room here with us today, and then also those of you that are on YouTube watching this live stream. So appreciate you all participating in the 2021 Quiver River Annual Meeting this afternoon. So it looks like the rain is upon us as well. So I really appreciate everybody tuning in. So before I get started, I just wanted to give a thank you out to our nominating committee who has just left the room to take care of our election of board candidates this evening. But I did want to really call them out and thank them for their service. These are members, just like all of you, that have dedicated time to overseeing this election and making sure that everything is taken care of. So really appreciate the time and commitment that they've given us. Of Lincoln County, we have Dale McDonald and Linda Whalen. From Warren County, Gary Carter and John Norwald. And from St. Charles County, Wendell Massman and Doug Steinmeier. And if you would, just give them a round of applause for what they've done. Very important part of our annual meeting, and I appreciate their dedication and the time and effort that they put in. So moving forward, this has been a historic year here at Quiver River as we turned, as of March the 6th of 2021, we turned 80 years old. So I don't think we look too bad to be 80 years old. Big milestone for us. On that day, March the 6th in 1941, there were 12 incorporators that started this cooperative called Quiver River. And they started growing rapidly. Immediately by April of that year, they had 345 members. And so we've always kind of had that growth that we've been blessed with. So, and just earlier this year, we surpassed a 70,000 meter mark. So we continue to grow rapid. You can see from the graph that our growth rate is about 2%, which is double that of both Missouri co-ops and around the country itself. So we're blessed with a lot of growth. And so just like we thank the 12 original members that started this cooperative, we want to thank each of you for being a member today and being part of the outstanding cooperative that is Quiver River. So it's been a busy couple of years. In 2020, we had to deal with the COVID pandemic, as everybody here and everybody on YouTube is fully aware. So we had a busy year that year. And then 2021 started off, we had this thing called the polar vortex that we had to deal with. So it may be hard to remember on a day like today and as hot as it's been this week, but those were some cold, cold days back in February. And what made this unusual was the span and the duration and geographic area that it covered. You know, we had a lot of discussion on, well, it's always cold. What was different about this one? It was usually not cold that long, and the area that this covered was just huge. Parts of Texas saw single digits through this. There was snow on the ground of the beaches in Galveston, Texas. So the area was much larger than normal. The storm covered 86% of the country, and 16 states experienced temperatures below zero. So this was really unprecedented in recent time. Nearly 3/4 of the contiguous United States was covered in snow, and both Quiver River and our G&T Associated Electric, we had all-time load highs during this polar vortex. So due to the shortage of natural gas from all this unprecedented demand, many states around the country struggled to keep the power on and had to implement rolling blackouts. Fortunately for you, our members, Quiver River and the co-ops in Missouri did not have to experience these rolling blackouts. And you need to know that your distribution system and your transmission system held up extremely well under some just extreme conditions. But the system really did a wonderful job of staying there. And this took a tremendous amount of teamwork with our generation company, our transmission company, as well as our employees here. And so while this was a costly event, we'll talk about that a little bit later, but through these coordinated efforts, the power stayed on, which is so important, especially when it's as cold as it was. So one thing that we learned through the polar vortex is that it is a very important asset and benefit to Quiver River to have a diversified generation mix. Through most of this cold period, when it got really cold, there was little wind. So our wind power was not able to generate enough energy as it had capacity. Also, solar panels, guess what? They were covered in snow and ice at that time, so there wasn't a lot of power generated from that. So our base load fleet of coal and natural gas really helped to bridge the gap when those other options weren't available. So having generation options is a real benefit to Quiver River when it comes to your reliability. So if certain generation sources aren't available, it's important to have alternatives. So while saying that base load generation is important, it doesn't mean that renewables are not. In fact, this past year, 25% of our member load was generated through renewable resources through wind and hydro. So we see technology continuing to improve. We see that number is going to continue to go up, and there's going to be more and more renewables as time goes on. In the meantime, having that variety of generation resources to rely on to keep your power on when you need it most fulfills Quiver River's mission of providing you reliable service at the lowest possible cost. Speaking of cost, we have worked very hard at Quiver River to keep your rates down, to keep them low. In fact, we've had one rate increase in the last 11 years, and we're very proud of that. And while we continue to work on keeping those rates low, I need to tell you that there's pressure starting to mount on those rates. So as you can see here, your cooperative has faced power cost rate increases from our power supplier as recently as 2017 and 18. And you can see that they were 2.1% and 3.7% respectively during those years. We were able to absorb those costs without passing those on to you, the member. This coming year in 2022, we're going to be facing another significant rate increase from our power supplier. While the numbers are still being worked out, it looks like it's going to be around a 6.5% to 7% increase that we'll be facing. And so while we're conducting studies to see exactly what that impact is going to be, we're hopeful that we'll be able to absorb a portion of that again, but we're probably not going to be able to absorb all of that. So in all likelihood, we are going to have to look at potential rate increases next year. We're going to try to keep those as low as possible. Through our solid financial planning, we're in a much better position to navigate these increased costs than others are. So we're confident that even if our rates need to be adjusted, we're still going to have some of the lowest rates in the state of Missouri. So recently, your cooperative retired $7.7 million in capital credits, an all-time record for Quiver River. It's something that we're very proud of. In just the last 5 years, there's been more than $33 million returned to you, the members. It's something that we take very seriously as a cooperative form of business, that we need to give any excess revenues back to you in the form of capital credits. Since 1976, there's been well over $100 million returned back to Quiver River members. In fact, as you can see from this graph, which is a measure of capital credits retired back to you as a percentage of total capital, Quiver River is significantly above the national average. In fact, on the benchmark, Quiver River is in the top 10% of the country on returning percentage back of capital credits to our members, and it's something that we're very proud of and continue to focus on. So a lot has changed in the 80 years since Quiver River's been around, and we see those changes continuing and even starting to be at a faster pace. Some of these changes include electric vehicles, or what you may have heard in the news as EVs, and you can't see anything in the news anymore without hearing about electric vehicles. We want you to know that your cooperative is ready to answer any questions that you might have on electric vehicles, and you can call our member service department to ask any specific questions that you might have, or you can visit our website at quiverriver.chooseev.com, and that'll tell you everything from information on models to rebates to tax credits and more. So look at that website if you're interested in EVs, and we're here to answer any questions that you may have on those. Also, Quiver River is seeing an increase in residential solar installations, and we want you to know as a member of Quiver River that you're entitled to ask us any questions that you would like on those solar installations, as far as how is it going to impact your electric bill, what's the payback period, any questions of a general nature. We're here to answer any of those questions that you may have. So when you're looking at installing residential solar, remember Quiver River as a resource and a guide for you, that we can help give you answers that you may have to any questions on residential solar installations. I'd also like to talk about a program that's been around for quite some time, but it's recently been revamped, and that is our Green Power program. This new Green Power program it's been available for residential members for years, but now this new program is also available for commercial and industrial members as well. And the way the new program works is that members may purchase renewable energy credits, or what we call RECs, RECs, that are generated from our wind farms. And this program is extremely affordable. The new program, a residential member can purchase 1,000 kilowatt hours of green power for $1 a month, and you can purchase up to 100% of your energy usage. For commercial and industrial members, they can purchase up to 1 megawatt hour. For Quiver River members to participate in our Green Power program. So if you want to know more about that, go to quiver.com/renewables, and then you can sign up out there. You can also get more information, and again, call us with any questions that you might have. It's a great way for Quiver River members to practice environmental stewardship and participate in our renewable energy resources. We also know that energy efficiency is important to our members, and a program that we have to help you with energy efficiency that will save you energy and money is called our Take Control and Save program. It can help you save money and energy by looking at the different programs that are set up. So you can go out to quiverriver.com/rebates and learn about all the different energy efficiency options. You can save on everything from advanced thermostats to electric vehicle charging stations and so forth. So a lot of good information is available out on that website to help you with energy efficiency. While we celebrate the past 80 years of Quiver River, we're looking forward to the next 80 years of Quiver River. And in the last 80 years, and there's going to be a lot more changes to come. The thing that will not change is our promise to continue to provide you with the service that you've come to expect from Quiver River. And I'd like to talk a little bit about our incredible employees. Of years. It's been a rough couple of years for everybody and for all of us, and I just cannot say enough about what our employees have done, their dedication that they have to serving the members, to keeping your power on. They do so safely. They do so with a lot of pride in what they do, and it's really because of our employee base that Quiver River has been great for as long as it has. We've just got an outstanding team, and I could not be prouder of our employees, and I want to thank each and every one of them for being part of our team and for all the work that they've done through these last couple of trying times through the years. So I'd also like to thank your board of directors for their leadership and vision as we try to navigate through the changes in our industry. And you have to know that your board of directors, with every decision that we talk about in the boardroom, the first question is asked is what's going to be best for the member. And I can't thank them enough for that. They are looking out for your interest, and I appreciate how they put the member first in every decision that they make. Our vision statement says that Quiver River will aspire to be a trusted energy partner that is prepared to embrace opportunities in a changing utility industry while providing our members maximum value and improving your communities. Your board of directors uses that vision statement to guide every decision we make now, and they're going to do that as we look to the future in the next 80 years. So in wrapping up, I just want to say thank you again for being here in this room with us in person today. And also for those of you that are watching on YouTube, thank you for tuning in. And on behalf of the Board of Directors and employees of Quiver River Electric Cooperative, it's our pleasure to serve you. Thank you very much, and God bless.
All right. Thank you, Doug. Excellent remarks. All right. Too many things to juggle up here, I think. All right. Okay. So, the next item on the agenda is the board president's report. And it definitely goes along with what Doug was saying, that as the board, we are members too. So every decision that we make, we definitely are taking into account our members and all of us and how it can benefit all of us. So last year I talked to you about the 7 guiding principles of cooperatives. And today I just wanted to summarize what the role of the board of directors is for the membership. As a board, our role is to govern and the business of the cooperative. Now the general manager and the staff, they handle the day-to-day operations, but within the framework that is set forth by the board of directors. Now, to govern, the board is responsible for hiring the CEO when needed, approving the mission statement, approving the policies that run the organization, the daily business, budgets, and approving the CPA firm that we use that helps us do our books and our audits, and our attorney. So in the past few years, we've been very busy. We've actually checked off every item on that list. And that's not usual. Normally, what we do on a monthly basis is we review policies and budgets. We are constantly updating our policies, and it's on a rotating basis. So after a few years, you're back reviewing the first policies again. So it's an ongoing thing, reviewing our policies, which is so important. Budgeting as well. We go through an extensive budget process in November, and the leadership team meets with the board. The board is divided into committees. It's taken very seriously. And to their credit, our budgets and our spending is almost exactly dollar for dollar. Good job, Wendy, and all of your team. But they review the financials with us monthly so that in real time we know exactly what's going on and why. That's a huge part of what helps us do our job for the cooperative. So we set the bar high for doing the best job for Quiver, as I said, because we are members too. So we want our organization to be successful. And on a side note, referring back to what Doug was saying about us celebrating our 80th anniversary, it got me to thinking about the history of Quiver, and I was browsing through a book about Quiver. And the very first meeting of our cooperative was held on March 6, 1941. The first board president was John Shaper from Forestell. Growing up, my family and I lived on Shaper Road, and the Shaper family were our neighbors. And I still live in the same district as Forestell. So I'm just one example of the connections that we still have to our past. We weren't the first cooperative in Missouri, but we today are the largest in our state. And even with 70,000 meters, the connections with our cooperative and our neighbors continues. We are still a community working together, cooperating for our greater good. So thank you. All right, looking at the agenda, is there any new or unfinished business to be discussed? Seeing we have none, we will continue to the next item, which is the election results. I'd like to call Megan up to the podium to discuss those with us. Thank you. Do you need me to move that?
The inspectors of election have completed the counting of ballots and have reported the election results as follows. For Lincoln County District Number 3, David Henke, Sr. received 505 votes. Michael Burkemper received 895 votes. John Waddell received 409 votes. Michael Burkemper is the seat holder for District Number 3. For Warren County District Number 2, David Avis received 723 votes, and Steve Coffey received 1,032 votes. Steve Coffey has been elected for District Number 3. St. Charles County District Number 1, Bruce Miller received 543 votes, and Mark Schulte received 1,233 votes. Mark Schulte has been elected for St. Charles County District Number 1. St. Charles County District Number 3, David Schuler received 467 votes, Dale Anderson received 1,060 votes, and Daryl DeCamp received 269 votes. Dale Anderson has been elected for St. Charles County District Number 3. The people named will serve a term of 3 years until their successors are elected and qualified. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, you did? Okay.
Okay, so there was also the bylaw proposition to be voted upon as well, and it received, bylaw proposition A received 1,616 yes votes and 333 no votes, so it did pass. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Congratulations to those who've been elected to our board of directors. Can you wave at me so I can see everybody? We have some new faces. All right. If there is no other business to come before the membership, I'd like to thank each of you for being part of this year's annual meeting. I now declare the 2021 annual meeting of the Quiver River Electric Cooperative adjourned. All right.